What up? Welcome everybody to Diablo Dailies, episode number 6. This is Noobie Tuesday. How is it going? Silk shirt. It's nice. Is this the same shirt I wore yesterday? It might be. I picked it up off my ground. The floor. Whatever it is. Wow, there was a lot of necks in stream. That's a lot of necking going on. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me get this in here. I did this last time too. I always forget to pull this up. I was putting together so many things for today's stream. I'm gonna break this stream up. I'm gonna have it as Noobie Tuesday, but I'm gonna break this stream up into probably 8 videos. That's how much stuff we are covering today. It is going to be a fantastic stream of beauty and beautifulness. That's all I can say. I've got a lot planned for you guys. How are you guys doing? I went and got a smoothie. And there was a kid standing in front of me, staring at me, probably 12. I don't know kids' ages anymore. Probably 12 years old. And just dancing and staring into my eyes. This is twice now that's happened, because I had the girl at the taco shop who was sitting there dancing at me. But this one was like with his mom. But he was just sitting there and he was just like, just going at it. Like, and the mom didn't care. She was done with it. She had given up on that son a while ago, I guess. Kid danced, and I was just waiting for my smoothie, trying to not look at the child. And yeah, it took about 5 minutes to make my smoothie. And for 5 minutes, the kid just stared into my soul and danced like that. It was a weird experience. That's all I can say. It was a weird experience. I did not dance in return. His mother was there. Might have been weird. I just wanted to get my smoothie and get out. Good for him though. I'm not mad at the kid by any means. That's great. You go dance if you want to, right? I believe that's what they say. If you want to dance, get dance. I was served. I guess so. But he brought his mom to the battle. And there were these like cool dudes that were sitting next to me, kind of like, not with me obviously, but a table over. So I couldn't get up and start dancing. So it's not Nudie Tuesday. It's Noobie Tuesday, not Nudie Tuesday. You guys, everybody seems to be confusing the name. Noobie Tuesday. Let's get it right. Anyways, what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about characters, breakpoints, maps, routing, and this is all just gonna be a beautiful day of learning. If you want to really get into Diablo 2, that last video, of course, was like the basics. How do I configure my hotkeys? What is life and mana and stats? And right, all of that stuff is great. This is going to be where I think a lot of people will kind of start and get that intro in, right? They're going to come in here and say, all right, I know how to set up my hotkeys. I know how to click on a button and choose a skill. I don't know how a character works exactly, what I should be looking for, whatever. I don't know the routes of it all. So I think this is going to be good. I think you guys are going to like this. So, with that being said, let's pop over to Llama's Learning. Remember, we have the Monday challenge for Magic Find Monday. Yo, Twitch silent. We've got the challenge right here that we're bringing over. So don't forget that. Most poison facets on BattleNet. Most poison facets. There's the rules down below. Go get them, any server, and then at the end you just message me. You'll, I'll do the count. You hand them to me, I'll do the count. It'll be good. All right. Yeah, this is. I really need to keep this text on here.
For Noobie Tuesday.
Don't. You can. I mean, do what you want, but this isn't Noobie Tuesday. It's Noobie Tuesday, not nudie. Remember. Okay. Let me adjust that really fast to say, where's Llama's learnings? Llama's learnings. Dude, I have so many layouts that I have made now. It's kind of ridiculous. Text. Bam. You go down here. And that text. 28? Diablo. That's weird. Diablo Dailies number 6. And this is Noobie Tuesday. Map cares / routes / breakpoints. It's kind of long. See if that all fits. In this slot, it does not. All right, we'll make it a little smaller. No, I'm rotating it now. Okay. Gosh dang it. It's like rotated. How do I rotate it back up? Okay. Now it's rotated too far. I can't get it straight. All right, whatever. That's good enough. Save. Llama's learnings. PNG. Boom. Done. Flatten. Kabamo. Done. It'd be nice, pseudo. Let me fix that uptime over there. All right. Hey, thanks, Twitch Silent. Appreciate it. That's exactly kind of what happens. You're not clear what you get by subscribing. Well, you get fun emotes. You get that cute little llama next to your name. You don't watch ads in my channel, which I don't ever run ads, but if you join my channel for the first time, you don't have those. You know, pretty much it's just, yeah. Production quality, whoo, good stuff. So, let me pull up the general first. Characters, general. Okay, let's hop in. Let's go on a journey together. Let's go on a journey. Wow, that was kind of cool, actually. That was kind of cool. I get to eat more chicken tendies when you subscribe. No, yeah, this is, you want more Diablo content? You are providing towards Diablo content by doing that, right? I am now part-time at my job and thus able to spend more time streaming and creating Diablo content such as this because of every single little person out there. Not that you're little, but all the little big donation subs, whatever, all that adds up into allowing me to do this. So you're a part of a big picture, right? Every puzzle piece matters. Llama's homeless, please subscribe so you can eat. I mean, we're not going to lie and see that stuff. So, I'm not homeless, but anyways, we're here for Noobie Day. We're starting off a little hot. These are some things that I want to talk about first before we really jump into the characters, okay? First things first. General basic stuff, right? Breakpoints. This game runs at 25 FPS, and I'm actually going to show you a little bit real fast here. This is my Holy Grails first, as you guys know. I'm going to show you a little bit of what that kind of looks like. Let me go somewhere like Cold Plains, right? If I take a few things off. So right now I have 105 faster cast rate, okay? This is what this looks like for teleporting. Or for shooting fireballs. Doom, 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 right? Now let's take off some of this. Now I think I have 65. So now I'm down a breakpoint. You can already see a little difference. Let's take off a little more. Right? Even more. Let's take off even more faster cast rate. Let me go down another breakpoint. Right? We can see how much slower all of that is due to now save and quit. We can see how much slower I am due to all of the it's not Nudie Tuesday. I know. I just forget. So, but no, I'm just saying, well, Talasania doesn't have faster cast rate. But you can see just how slow it is as I'm losing that faster cast rate, right? That is a matter of frames. That is a matter of frames. And if we bring up that beautiful image again, right? This game, like I said, runs at 25 FPS, frames per second. 25. That's really, really slow, right? Everything now is like 60. And so it's like so many frames and everything, right, flying across. 25 FPS. There is a huge difference between every single frame. You can visually see the difference right there. We just went from like 8 frames per second to like 13 frames per second over the course of all of that. And you could visibly notice every single thing. Is there video delayed compared to the audio? Hannah Bart tweeted out she was having issues with that. That might just be a Twitch thing right now. We're gonna make sure the camera's plugged. Yeah, it is. To yes. No delay in yours? Okay. Anyways. Okay, I just saw that, so I don't know if it was a Twitch issue. So, let's take this look, right? 25 FPS. This affects faster cast rate, which is how fast I'm going, shooting the fireballs, teleporting, any skills like that, right? Faster hit recovery, which is when I get hit, if I take more than 1/12 of my health, which is a little over 8%, if more than 8%, please don't confuse frames per cast and frames per second. No, I'm saying faster cast rate is the frames per cast, which is within the frames per second, though. If it takes me 15 seconds for a cast, then that's 15 frames, right? Of the 25. Is that wrong, Ubio? I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Okay, sorry, you don't cast at 8 frames per second. Okay, that's what you're saying, yes. You cast, it takes 8 frames to cast. My bad. So, anyways, getting back to it. Faster recovery, like I say, if I get hit and I lose 1/12 of my health or more in that single hit, I will go into what is hit recovery. And this is a time that it takes for me to recover myself before I can do anything else. Faster hit recovery is also very buggy in that.
Hello, Papa Llama. Diablo Dailies.
I have to mute this right now. Sorry. Thank you, Cheesy. I'll read that later. Appreciate that. But it's very buggy in that when you get hit, a lot of times animations will still go on, right? You'll still see them cast. You'll still see something. It finishes through the animation a lot of times. Something might release, so you'll see a Nova release, but it does no damage. Something like that. That's because you were in hit recovery mode before you technically finished your animation, right? And then faster block rate is how quick you block something. So if somebody hits you, you block it, right? If you have a shield and your block chance rolls, that's how many frames it takes for you to block before you're then reset to do another action. And then lastly is increased attack speed, which is just attack speed in general. How many frames does it take per swing of my sword or whatever it is in that case? And that gets very complicated. There's good calculators out there to really determine that, because that's based on what skill you're using, if you've got any auras going, what weapons attack speed, what your attack speed is. There's so many things with all of that. So use calculators for that one, and I'll show you that a little bit. But those are the basics things that use the FPS thing, or the FPS, right? The frames, and have breakpoints on them. Okay. Calculations that you want to care about are chance to hit, and this is your attack rating plus level versus defense plus level. So if I'm attacking you, my attack rating plus my level, not exactly in that order, there's a calculation, but my attack rating and my level will go on one side, your defense and level go on the other side, and then we'll basically compete to see if I hit, what my chance of hitting is. That is for chance to hit. And then if you're running, there's a 100% chance hit. People say when you run, your defense is set to 0. This is actually false. When you run, your defense is not set to 0. When you run, you always get hit. And I can show that right now. This is a level 99 paladin. Average chance fallen will hit you 5%. Okay. Experience shrine. So if I'm standing still, I am level 99. Let me find a group of Fallens. They're going to be the best to showcase this. If they exist out here anywhere. Fallens. For real? Fallens. I'm going to stand next to zombies here. So you're going to see these zombies try and hit me. Okay. It's not going to work. Right? I have 54 life. Yeah, it's hero editor. Don't worry about that. Right? So they have a 5% chance to hit me. Now I want you to watch this. If defense was just set to 0, which, by the way, my defense is 5 right now, so it's basically inconsequential, then you wouldn't see what you're looking at, right? If defense was set to 0, I would still have level 99. But when I'm running, if I am within the range to be hit, he will always hit me. When you are running, a monster has a 100% chance to hit you. And a lot of people get that wrong. It is an auto hit that will always happen. So I'll just go back to town real fast like this. Yeah, mind blown already? What? We just started. Additionally, your block chance goes down to 1/3 of its normal chance. So if you have 75% block rate, you have a 25% block rate while running. So that's a Pro Thursday tip thrown over for you right there. That is bizarre, because everybody always says defense is 0. Defense is set to 0 when you're running. Defense is set to 0. That would imply you still had a chance to block, or still had a chance. Walking's fine. Walking is like standing still. It's only running. Which is why teleporting gets you hit immediately. No, teleporting actually counts as standing still, and so when you're teleporting, you have a chance to not be hit. But when you're running, your chance for hit is 100%. And I mean, I always run, so it's fine. It's not like running is the end of the world, right? I speed run. All I do is run with my characters, but it's just a thing. And by the way, that link at the bottom is the link for the calculator that I would recommend to anybody. Okay. So let us begin. Now that we've gone over the general everything, let us begin. Am I sure about walking? No. Do you want me to go test it? We can go test it real fast. I'm pretty sure walking has the same. That's right. Evade and things like that, though, still apply. Running does not affect those. All right, let's walk. Yeah, see? Walking is the same as standing still. Yep. Cool. So, anyways, let us go in and begin our basics first. We are going to, now that we have a general idea of what that stuff kind of means, let us begin by taking a look in at each character and really getting the same idea. Yeah, walking to the same and standing still. Let's get a really good idea at what a character looks like, what the strengths of a character are, what the downsides of a character are, how you want to build a character. Let's do all of this right now. And we are going to start with the beautiful, beautiful Amazon. So the first things to note is I've gone ahead and built up just the basic guide of what all of the stats are and everything, right? So we have strength, dexterity, vitality, and energy on the Amazon here. You can see what they are. They're starting values. So she starts with pretty good dexterity. She's a very balanced character in her start. Her hit points 50, her mana 15, pretty low, and stamina 84 right there, right? So important things to note. The first one is I want you to go to the top right and look. Each character level. This means when I level up, I am just gaining stats. And a lot of people don't realize this. They think all of your stats come from, like, if I put a point in vitality or something like that. They don't realize that your character level is actually going to increase all of your base stats there, right? Or not your stats, but your life, mana, stamina, whatever, right? So for a character level, she gains 2 life, she gains 1.5 mana, and she gains 1 stamina. Then, additionally, you have the stat per effect. Miss Kylie, thank you for the host. Also, Cookie Monster, welcome back for 2 months in a row. Appreciate that. Then if we go down to the bottom left, we have the stat per effect. And this is also different, and a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people don't realize that each character has a different... Hi, Kylie. Has a different amount of life and energy, things that they gain or mana they gain for every stat point. So putting a stat point in energy on a sorceress is different than putting it in on a barbarian or anything like that. So it's important to note, and you'll see as we go through different characters, kind of how these balance out. 3 is pretty middle of the line on life. Everybody pretty much gets 1 stamina except Assassin, and 1.5 mana is pretty middle of the line. So this character as a whole really runs down the middle in terms of everything. I would say 3 life is a little bit better, right? That's kind of a nicer one to have. Just because when you get those ones that have 2+2 to life, it's so brutal. You just have no life gain whatsoever. So every level, if I level up, I get +2 to life. And then if I put 5 points in vitality, I get 15. So I can get 17 to life per level on this character. That's very, very solid compared to a lot of other characters that are going to get a lot less than that. So it's a pretty solid life gainable character there. Now let's talk a little bit about some of her breakpoints here. Faster hit recovery, faster cast rate, and faster block rate. Her faster hit recovery, pretty good. Starting at 11 for 0%. And the way that I want you to read this is the percentage on the left is what percentage that the character has. Once again, remember, any number between these is irrelevant. It always will round up, or round down, I should say, to the lowest number. So if I have 5% faster hit recovery, that's the same as having 0% faster hit recovery. And that's very important to note. A lot of people think, oh, well, I got always better to have a little bit more. It's not always in these cases. If it's not getting you to the next breakpoint, it does absolutely nothing. This will be on YouTube, yes. So the faster hit recovery frames, pretty good. On the left side, that's how much you have. On the right side, that's the number of frames it takes. So if it takes me, when I have 0% faster hit recovery, it takes me 11 frames to recover. And remember, this is if I get hit. If somebody hits me, and the Amazon's a little weird, this is if I'm getting hit with anything except a one-handed weapon or a two-handed sword being held in one hand. And then I have slightly different faster hit recovery and faster block rate, I believe. The Amazon and there's a couple little minor discrepancies for like a couple characters with that stuff. But for the most part, this is how it looks. So what you want to look at really here is it doesn't take a lot to really knock down each frame. And on a game that runs at 25 FPS, going from 11 frames to like 7 frames, let's say, or 8 frames, if you can drop 3 frames right there, so now instead of 11, it's now 10, 9, 8, that is actually a lot of time. Because it's every frame is 0.04 seconds, right? If we're just multiplying 25 times 0.04 to get our, right, whatever it is, right, or 1 second divided by. Every frame, or wait, did I do that right? That's, yeah, no, yes. I can't do math right now. I'm trying to stream and do math. And it's tough. Yeah, that sounds right to me. That sounds right. Every frame is 0.04 seconds. I'm just going with it. Sorry. For some reason, I got off there. Every frame is 0.04 seconds. So, those add up, right? And you're suddenly looking at 0.32 seconds if I'm at 8 frames versus 0.44 seconds. I mean, it's a lot, and you really feel it in the game. So I know if you are sitting there at home and you're saying, Mr. Llama, that's nothing, right? Like, a second, 1 Mississippi. Done. That was a second. That's it. But when you're sitting there and somebody's like bashing on you and hitting you and you're trying to cast a spell or recover so you can start running again, whatever it is, all of those little frames really, really add up. So this is very important to note. So she's got pretty good faster hit recovery. That's one of the things. Plus she has her skills, evade, dodge, all of that stuff, which will also add into her dodging and doing all sorts of stuff for making it so people can't hit her. But that's like creating your own faster recovery. And that can actually be kind of not as great sometimes. But, well, that's something to discuss a little bit later. Her faster cast rate is atrocious. Atrocious. Look at that. 0% faster cast rate takes 19 frames. That is almost a whole second for her to cast something. Now, granted, she's generally not casting things, but if you have something like an Enigma or a teleport staff, teleport amulet, whatever it is, that is so bad. Right? Like just to teleport one time or cast one thing. Awful. God awful. She has, I mean, this is some of the worst FCR in the game, right? Terrible, terrible, terrible. You have to know that. And so if you're doing stuff that requires casting from the Amazon, which, like I say, most of the time you're not, but if you're trying to teleport with her or something like that, know that she's going to be very slow. And there's a lot of chance to be interrupted. Within that 19 frames, there's a lot of chance for her to be interrupted. For faster block rate, pretty good. It's pretty good right here, right? So you can see when she blocks, especially if you can just get a little bit of faster block rate, 13, 32%, whatever. Obviously, you're not going to get like 600% or anything, but you get a little bit. That's decent. 4 frames, 4 or 5 frames. That is not bad. So her block rate's pretty good. So looking at this, if we take a step back and look at the Amazon, we can say, okay, I want to probably bumping her dexterity is probably not a terrible idea. If I can run max block on her and it can be decent. Right? That's not bad. Additionally, her faster hit recovery is decent. I could avoid that. I could go pure vitality on her. Her life gain is amazing at 3 life per vitality point, right? That's really good. So if I can put more points into vitality, I can live with that. That's something you can kind of waver back and forth on her if you wish to be blocking more or just pumping everything into vitality. Strength is just going to be for strength to use. And energy, right, for gear. And her energy, her 1.5 per mana per energy point. It's okay. Maybe get a few points, not like on Battle.net, but like singles player early, things like that. Until later on where you can always sustain it. Because a lot of her skills do take a lot of mana. So, let's go ahead and pop this down and let's hop in to our Amazon. Okay. So I'm using pluggies so this way I can reset skills and stats and things like that, and we can kind of talk about it. So first thing to note, and I'm going to do this just for Ubio because he's talking about you can get quite a lot of energy on a cold zone. Yeah, I mean, if I'm shooting and it's 18.5, right? 18.5 mana per shot. And let's pretend like I have a bow that is, you know, very, very good attack speed. Something like that. Okay. Why can't I shoot my freezing arrows? I don't have enough mana yet. So I can't even use it for... There we go. So... sometimes you might want to... No, I haven't done Druid yet. Sometimes... right? You can see how much mana it takes and how easily you can just burn out of it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, maybe getting a little bit more energy there for a cold, or even, I mean, exploding arrow is similar, right? Its mana cost is going to go up. Multi-shot's mana cost will go up. A lot of bow skills have an increasing. Guided arrow actually goes down, but multi-shot really goes up. So if you're sitting there and you want to just spam out some multi-shots, right? It takes a lot of mana. So you just want to kind of figure that out. And like I say, as you're leveling up and progressing, putting a point here isn't the worst thing ever. Because I'm getting 1.5 mana per. It's not a terrible investment for an energy point. But you are sacrificing 3 life every single time, right? You are sacrificing 3 life every single time. So let's look at a little bit of different things that I can do with this character, right? Let's go ahead and take some looks. Like I said, the first thing that I can do is I can go for max block. And if I get like a bone shield or something like that, I can sit there and I can bump it up. And obviously, you know, I'd have something better here. But I can bump up my dexterity, and with a decent shield, you know, I probably put in like 150 something dexterity, and I get my chance to block up to 75%. You can do that if you would like, right? Like I say, a lot of people are just gonna put some strength in, enough to use gear, and then I'll have my torch, my annihilus, whatever not. And then maybe some dex if they want to get block. Otherwise, they'll probably skip dex. Maybe some energy if they want some mana. Otherwise, they'll skip that. That depends on how much mana they get. And then everything else will probably go into vitality, such as this. Because this brings you up to really, really good life totals. Add on life that I'm going to get from gear. Add on battle orders. She's going to become very tanky. Okay? Now let's take a look over at some builds, because this is more the important stuff to focus on, right? Stats, you're either going max block and getting dexterity for that. On a boson, you put all the dex. Okay, well, that's for your damage, I guess, right? So you could put some to dex there for damage. But you're really just going to either be in dexterity or in vitality for your character, right? One of the two. But stats are less so. More so, let's look over here at this character. So, some things to note. The first one is dodge, avoid, and evade. Usually are kind of 1-point wonders. You let, like, plus to skills kind of bump them up, I would say. When you do these dodges, it will actually take a little bit of time. So you can lock yourself up if you're trying to dodge, and there's like a giant group of things, and it can disrupt your chances for hitting things. But a lot of people like to get this. I don't like to get this until I have to, which is when I want to get a Valkyrie. Because the Valkyrie is amazing. The Valkyrie is probably the best summon minion in the game. And you can see here as I bump it up, look at just everything that it has. And this is without plus skills, right? 2200 life, 475% damage, 800% attack rating, defense bonus, and all of these things help her. Critical strike would help her, so when you get your point there, that's helping her out. Penetrate's going to help as well, which you're going to get some points there. Decoy will bump her up as well. Like, Valkyrie, you can literally beat the entire game with just a Valkyrie. And you just stand behind the Valkyrie and let the Valkyrie do everything that you want. Like, you can literally just, whatever you want. You just say, hey, Valkyrie, come take care of this for me. Right? And I have to get more mana to summon my current one, but just summon her. So you just sit there and she'll just kill everything. She'll just kill everything. Yeah, this is normal, but you take her to hell, she'll do the same thing. And whenever she's dying, you just resummon her. Very, very, very good skill to get. Other things to really look at. Critical strike. Your attacks have a chance to do double damage. This is physical damage will be doubled. Very important to note, okay? This is her physical damage, not her lightning damage, her fire damage. Whatever it is from that piece, if I'm shooting an exploding arrow, the physical damage from the arrow hitting is what will get doubled, not the fire damage that's added on. A lot of people think that they're getting a lot more value from this than they actually are, okay? Penetrate, just to increase your attack rating, right? So this can be another one that you're just dumping a point in, so then your attack rating will go up, because when you have all your plus skills and things like that from your gear, whatever, gonna be really nice. Huge for a strafe zone, yeah. Very good for strafe, right, to do the double damage. If you're doing physical attacks like this, it's very good to have that. And lastly is Pierce. I love Pierce. Pierce is great. Okay, Pierce is great. Pierce is the chance that the missile, your bow, your javelin, whatever it is, will pass through the enemy that you hit. So it'll hit them and also go through and continue. And if you guys have ever seen the guided arrow that goes back and forth over and over and over again, right? That is where you're seeing it from. Where's my... Oh. Where's my guided arrow at? Did I not? Oh, I need to get guided. Okay. That doesn't work like that anymore, but I know. That's from what it used to be. Okay. That's from what it used to be. I can't hit anything right now. What the heck is going on? Why can't I hit stuff? What is going on? I can't even pretend to act like I know what's happening. What is happening? I'm very confused. Yeah, this is normal. Alright, this is some hero editor bug. So just ignore this. Did that fix it? Did weapon swapping fix it? Yeah, okay. I had to weapon swap. Okay, so. That's crazy. But yeah, so what this will allow is it can continue through a monster to go on. Okay. We'll just do it with some javelins. We'll throw a javelin here and go here to show it. Because that was crazy. Thank you, Skate. That was crazy. So, oh man, these are gonna be tough areas to show. Show with multi-shot. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Multi-shot. There you go. So you can see the arrows hit them, but then continued through as well. Cold arrow would also be a good show, right? You'll see that it's going to hit the first person and then continues through to hit the second person as well. Okay. So basically it's amazing because a lot of the Amazon's skills, okay, a lot of the Amazon skills are things that, like, when they get a hit, it's amazing. And if you can make it hit multiple guys and then they'll keep spreading or keep blowing up in multiple sections, it does so much more damage. It's kind of insanely good. So note that is all I can say. So once again, let's look at, we should come back and we should really look at a character now, right? So let's say I want to build a Javazon, okay? First things that I want to note, Lightning Fury is your big mama. This is your skill that you want to make love to right here, okay? This skill is going to just put you in a fantastic place. And let's go back and just set it. Okay, this is the skill that you see that blows up the world, right? I'm going to throw one javelin. Okay. That right there is, it hits and it explodes out in this big area. And the more that you combine everything together, the more that you bring in just a bigger cluster, the better it is. Because on that impact, it splits. And then when you have Pierce as well, right? If I have Pierce as well, now it'll hit and split, continue through, hit another guy, split again, right? The continue through for the multi-split it's disgusting. And you'll just see things. This is almost looks like PoE. Thank you, Runfish. This almost looks like PoE where everything just goes, right? And kind of like propagates out in this giant explosion. So if I am building this Lightning Fury, I am here. And then you can also look and you say, what's my thing that I'm doing when I'm closer, right? If I'm closer to monsters or I'm trying to target down a boss, I'm using Charged Bolt. Now, Charged Bolt is amazing because it releases multiple bolts, releases 7 charged bolts. And so if I'm up there and I stab a guy, from that close, all of the charged bolts, it's kind of buggy, glitchy, you could almost say. Or Charged Strike, sorry. Not bolt, but yeah, it releases charged bolts. So it's almost kind of buggy, right? Like you can kill the Ubers with Charged Bolt from a sorceress or from this character, whatever it is, because all the bolts, instead of spreading out and then just doing like 1,000 damage here, 1,000 damage, 500, 200, 800 damage, like that, they all hit right at the start of the impact, and so you get every bolt doing damage. So you can like 2 or 3 shot bail in hell with Charged Strike because you just go and it's all of the bolts try and release, and he's such a big target that it just hits him and kills him. This is probably the strongest skill in the game in terms of, yeah, it's not like Teeth. That's what makes Teeth suck, honestly. If Teeth had that, it would be way better. So very, very good, right? Very, very, very good skill that has the follow through bolts, plus you get the bolts on the hit. Super, super, super good. So these are your skills right here. These are your 2 skills that as a Javazon, you want to care about for damage and damage. And I run exactly like this. Charge Strike on my left, Lightning Fury on my right. I throw when I'm far, and I hit when I'm close on that. Now, of course, you want to look at, well, what else does it get from Lightning Strike and Power Strike? So I'm going to be putting up Power Strike, Lightning Strike. But before I do this, I'm going to want to make sure I have a few points in Pierce. Or if I have enough plus to skills, I could just put 1 point in there, because you can see, obviously, you know, it starts to kind of slow down. 20 points is 85%, which is great. But you can kind of decide how many points you want to put into Pierce. I like to go for like 50 to 60% chance for it to follow through. But a lot of people like to put stuff in there. And then as well, if you want to get a Valkyrie, you can get a Valkyrie. If you want to have dodge, avoid, evade, they can be very good. To get that Valkyrie, you have to have those. But like I say, they can also be annoying because they can make your character kind of dodge, twitch every time you're trying to hit stuff. So that's kind of up to you. Once again, Critical Strike, not going to do anything for this character, so avoid that. This is if you want that lightning. And so then I would, like I say, just finish off pumping up Power Strike or Lightning Strike for synergies. Am I using these? Nah, not really. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm probably not putting anything in the bow tree there. Passives, I'm just going to be Pierce, just 1 and Penetrate. I don't care about attack rating because when I'm doing stuff like Charge Strike, the bolts are still releasing there. So even if I'm not hitting, the bolt still gets released. It still does a ton of damage. Okay. So we need faster hit rate to work with the dodge and evade. Yeah. Faster recovery. So yeah, how do you deal with lightning immunes? Which is a great question. So let's say that I've made this character. How do I deal with lightning immunes? One, if I have something like Titans, the physical damage on Titans is enough that I can actually whittle them down. So if I want, I can sit there and just whack, 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 right? And I can actually hit things, whittle them down, make it a little more difficult for them. Additionally, I could try and throw out some poison stuff. Probably not going to do that, though. Mercenaries can be very helpful. Infinity is a huge one if I can get an Infinity on my Mercenary. Or I can buy a lower res wand with charges and just have that on my swap. So then whenever I encounter them, I can cast low resistance on them and kill them. Last thing I can do is I can just skip them. If it's not critical, like Maddock is lightning immune, I have to kill him. So I'm going to need to have low resist on him, plus for him to not be like lightning enchanted or something. Okay. I need to do that, and then I'll be fine. But if I'm lightning other than that, and if I can't, or if I don't have that, whatever it is, you just got to kind of skip sometimes. That's just how it goes, right? Not every monster group do you have to kill. But if you have physical enough javelins, you can generally do enough damage to be fine. So yeah, this is kind of what my character looks like. And then once again, I can run like this if I want, because having a Valkyrie, especially when you've got extra points to it, is super nice, and she'll help you survive a ton. So I'd say this is what your build's gonna look like right here for kind of that. Hey, Yama. Now, if I want to run, you're generally not gonna run poison, right? Poison can be great early on. It's used in speedrunning, obviously, for the first few levels, but it eventually gets kind of meh. If you want Valkyrie damage, get her to level 17. There you go. That's Ubio's. She gets a war pike at level 17. Perfect. There you go. That's a pro tip. Get her to level 17, and then her equipment will upgrade, and she'll get a war pike. You can run a Fendazon. I've seen people do it, or like Impale, right? They just get a big old spear and run that. Not going to be as effective as this, but it can work. Okay. And there you're just kind of maxing that, whichever one you want. I've seen it, but like I say, Javazon, when people talk about Javazon, they're talking Charge Strike and Lightning Fury. Now, if you want to be a Bozon, you actually have a lot of options here. Okay. That was interesting that she survived until I placed a skill point. First thing is a Strafeson. A lot of people like to be Strafeson. Okay. And what this does is this is going to essentially allow me to shoot a bunch of targets, but I have to stand still to shoot each one. So let's see if we can grab a couple more than that. Here we go. Right? So she's going to spin around in a giant circle and shoot everybody on one click. Pretty cool. With this, you need attack rating though. Okay? So penetrate all of a sudden is becoming a lot more important. Okay? This is a lot more important to have good attack rating because you want to make sure that you're hitting things. Pierce can also be very good in these situations, right? Pierce is pretty good with everything that you're getting. Critical Strike can also be good. So I honestly am fine with putting a few points into these passives over here, especially because Strafe doesn't have any synergies. So if I'm getting Strafe, boom, I've dumped 20 points into it. Now what? Right? Now what do I do? If I want to have a little bit of like a guided arrow on my main hand, I can do that. Right? So I could set guided arrow and have that be for my like main shot. And then I can strafe whenever there's a big group. Strafe has next delay. Yes, that's right, it does. They don't need to know about that. If I want to do multi-shot, this is really good if you have a really strong weapon, like Ubio was saying. Very strong weapon, multi-shot can be very good. And you can just sit there and let's do this number. Right. And oops. And I can sit there and just spray it out. Okay. So I can sit there and just get a nice spray. And you can see the further out my cursor is versus closer in, how the arrows go, right? You can kind of choose how narrow or how wide you're shooting based on how close to your body you're shooting. And when I'm like on top of myself, I'm shooting full arc. So pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Go to Act 2 so we can see better. I don't think I set it up for me to have Act 2. So can I talk to Ward Eve? Nope. Yeah, I don't have question. Okay. Regardless, your spread pattern, that's true with all skills. Or most skills, I should say. Any skill like that that has a good spread. Can you land multiple arrows on one target with that? I believe so, right? I believe it's not like teeth. So you should be able to hit multiples with one. But yeah, so this only takes one arrow. A lot of people think it takes a lot more. No, it takes one arrow, but you get that max spread. So it's very, very good damage. So if I'm pumping in one of these, I'm probably over in my passive tree, pumping up all my passives, right? And we can once again kind of talk through. Inner sight, you're probably never going to use inner sight. It's okay. Yeah, it lowers defense, right? So it's good, but you probably won't use it. Slow missiles, you also probably won't use unless you just want to like troll somebody. And okay, good. So now you can put that over them. It slows down their missiles. Decoy is actually really good. Decoy is a skill a lot of people, I would say, don't use, but just creates a decoy of yourself, and you can have it out while you have your Zon as well. Okay, and she'll just sit there and be a tank that doesn't move. So she's just there to pretend like she's you. That's all. But she can be pretty tanky. So I like decoys a lot. In general. What do I like doing for a boson? If you want to be that physical boson, which in hell, this is a very strong thing to do because of immunities, right? So you can just play, yeah, it is Ubio. So you can just play with strafe, multi-shot, whatever, right? If you have a very strong bow or good, you need at least like a Bariza or something of that nature to really make her decent for that damage, right? If you have, you can see what I have in here. Zephyr. I don't think I have any really strong bows in here. If you want, though, if you don't have something as good as that, and you just have good attack speed, you can either play the freezing arrow game, which is a very, very good skill. It freezes a group of monsters, does pretty good damage. You can see right there, just maxing this without even the synergies max is 347 to 358. So this is where you say, okay, it doesn't matter how much damage my bow does. And I'm going to show this with our magical edge. Let's go with that, sure. Okay, so we have an edge bow. So the edge bow only does 2 to 6 damage. Forget the thorns. 2 to 6 damage. Yeah, it's got some damage for demons and undead and things like that. But my freezing arrow does 1,000 damage per shot. Over 1,000 cold damage with a good AoE. Is it wrong synergy? Cold arrow, ice arrow? No, it's not. What are you talking about? Right, with good AoE. So it's one of those where you can just sit there and shoot off a lot of them. It doesn't matter. Ice just gives freeze length. Yeah, I mean, I did both. Right. it doesn't matter that you don't have good damage on your bow, because that's not what the damage is. This bow does 77 to 83 damage. I'm not caring about that. Everything I'm caring about is the giant explosion. So if I'm running this, once again, I am running for pierce. I want to make sure that I'm piercing, because I want that explosion. You saw how big that AoE was? If that can pierce through and go another little distance and do it again right behind it, I get 2 of those explosions. So good. So good, right? This is why I love the Amazon. She's one of my favorite characters, actually, because of how beautiful that is. You saw it right there. Explosion, 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 right? All of that pierce right there. That was only 6 pierce too. Just goes through and procs and hits multiple monsters. And there's another one back there. Right. Super, super good. But once again, when you get to hell, yes, you're going to have people. Yeah, okay. A lot of people wouldn't put the synergies into Ice Arrow, they're saying, because that's just added to freeze length. So right now, if I'm in hell, I am freezing for 4 seconds. So anybody that gets frozen for 4 seconds. So they're saying, no, you go here, you just max Cold Arrow. And you can freeze them, then hit with Strafe Multi if you want. Right, exactly. You don't have to freeze them with, and that's a good point. It only adds 2 seconds, so it's not quite worth for Ice Arrow. So I'm going bam, bam, and then I'm over here in my tree, and I'm doing this stuff again. And maybe I'm bumping my Valkyrie up and getting a massive Valkyrie. Maybe I'm increasing my Pierce. I don't really need Penetrate for this one, so I'm not going Penetrate. I don't really need Critical Strike. So I'm just going Pierce, and I can play around with bumping up all these things however I like, right? Because I have a ton of extra skills over here. You know? And I'm not getting anything in that tree. I'm not getting anything over on this stuff, unless I wanted to get something like Guided Arrow to finish off whatever it is. But yeah, then I can just bump everything up and have really good percentages for all of this stuff. Increase my decoy and have an amazing Valkyrie. That, you know, my Valkyrie is gonna be the biggest tank in the world right now, 3168 life, and I can sit in the back and just freeze everything. This right here is a pretty winning combination. You could beat hell with this. I mean, you don't even need all those points. I can max this, right? Max freezing and Cold Arrow, and then kind of dump everything else towards Valkyrie, and I can go beat hell. Because anything I can't kill, my Valkyrie can kill. Easy as that. And that's just for the cold mutants. Is Mavset any good in hell? Yeah, Mavset will do just fine in hell. And Ubio had a tip. He said, each source of cold damage on your gear increases freeze length. Well, there you go. It's a fun little tip. I didn't even know that one. So that is a great Boazon. What's another good Boazon? Exploding Arrow. I don't like Immolation Arrow that much. I really don't. So I'm going to bump my Exploding Arrow up. I'm going to bump my Fire Arrow up. And this is one that I really love through end of normal to middle of nightmare. I really like this character. This is very much the exact idea as Freezing Arrow. Java greater than bow with correct gear? Sure, but not everybody's gonna have all the correct gear, everything like that. And some people just want to play a Boazon, you know? But this is got that same sort of exploding. I kind of blew up all the mobs here. I want to get more of a grouping so I can show you. Right? Same sort of idea. You get that big old explosion. So I'm rocking that. I'm rocking the same thing over here. I like to have like this many points, 5, 6 points in Pierce. And you can put, of course, more if you want to increase that chance a little bit. If you want to get over to that Valkyrie, you can, because it leaves you a lot of points as well. Immolation Arrow, though, not great. But I'm doing 438 to 506 damage with this. This is why I say this is solid for mid game, right? Yeah, 69 Pierce is pretty good, exactly. This is solid for mid game. right here. Right. And when you get pierced with it as well, it's just going to do really, really well. So that kind of takes you, let's go back in. That kind of takes you through some combinations that you can do. You can run a cold, where you're going freezing arrow and cold arrow. You can run exploding arrow. And don't forget, you can respec throughout the game. So if I'm sitting there and I'm like, I want to make a Boazon, and I want her to be a freezing arrow Boazon. And then I go, what do I do for the first 29 levels? Cold arrow kind of sucks just to have cold arrow and blah, 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 you know. It's okay to run something else first and then respec into it. So running exploding arrow from level 12 on is actually pretty strong. Or you can start out and you can run poison javelin for a while with some power strike, and then you can switch over and go to freezing arrow when you hit level 30 or 31, whatever, right? Remember that you don't have to always build exactly that. But the Boazon is pretty strong. Like I say, you have your cold Zon, you have your physical Zon where you can run strafe with guided up front. You can run multi-shot if you have a really strong bow. Or you can run exploding arrow. Immolation arrow, like I say, I don't really like it that much. Just not that great. One thing to note about Bozons, they're very weak against bosses. They're strong against other characters, but against bosses, their killing potential isn't as strong, so they're going to take a lot longer to kill. This is also why it can be really nice to have a Valkyrie. If you can have a Valkyrie that can sit there and tank for a little bit, that is so much more helpful than having to try and run away, shoot an arrow, run away, shoot an arrow, run, you know, like, oh, there's some really slow bow fights. So know that. Over here, right, Javazon, you're running Charge Strike and Lightning Fury. That's pretty much what you're running. You could run Fend or something of that nature if you want to run with a spear and just have some fun. Not a recommended starter build, though. Definitely recommend you get on these. And to start out, Poison Javelin is a fabulous starter. Fabulous. This is what we do for speedrunning, right? When I'm speedrunning, you're going to see me running with Poison Javelin. Because it's so good. I mean, look at that damage. This is, if I'm level 11, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Level 10, I could have already 150 to 175 damage. And then I just throw it out. They walk into the line of poison, and they die. Easy as that. So know that this is a pretty good option for very early game, but eventually poison gets pretty meh. Plague Javelin's nothing to really write home about either. You might sit there and be like, but look at all that poison damage you're doing, Mr. Llama. Yeah, but it really just, you know, yeah, that's 10k poison damage. But later on, it's just, I don't know, it really doesn't do enough. It really just doesn't do enough damage. It's kind of the issue with it. So most people aren't going to be running. Yeah, and the reason is because it's over 10 seconds, exactly. The poison damage is not done immediately, and this is over 46 seconds. So this is 10k damage over 46 seconds. Okay. Let me not die here. So that's basically no damage, and you're seeing it because this is in easy, right? This is normal. And this is 5,600 damage over 10 seconds. So 500 damage a second. You're just not getting near as much damage. Okay. So really, really, really note that kind of hurts there. But those are kind of some Amazon builds for you to kind of think about. Thank you, Baby and Us. Those are just some kind of things to really think about with that, with the character. And once again, we can bring up, right, her stats and kind of her life gain, her mana gain, whatnot. Does poison stack? No, it'll just refresh. So good life gain, decent fast rate recovery, decent block rate. Want to really look for things that are going to have either high damage if you are going for physical bow, you want high damage. Otherwise, attack speed is very important, whether it's a bow or even for javelins, right? If I'm doing Lightning Fury, if I have 40 increased attack speed javelins, I'm doing way more damage than if I have 0% increased attack speed javelins, okay? So getting that is good. Yeah, I already warned about dodge locking. So yeah, really kind of note that sometimes something like plus skills and stuff like that and plus attack speed is better than having a weapon that does more damage, because a lot of the skills here aren't using the physical damage. That's not a big important piece for you. Okay. So that covers the Amazon. I think that's a pretty good introduction. Yeah, I guess we can really quick, if we want to, we can look at, right? If I'm running this girl, let me back out some of these things. Let me just do this. Pump like this stuff up. Okay, if I'm running this character, what are some things I'm using? Early on, Blood Fist, right? Great. Life, attack speed, faster hit recovery. All that stuff's really good. If I want to get some crushing blow on my gloves, sure, that can be nice. A Raven Frost, some sort of cannot be frozen. Whoa, I have a perfect Raven Frost? That's cool. Bale drop that? I didn't know that. All right. A Raven Frost, so I can't be frozen. Pretty good for this girl. Okay. Rhyme Shield. If I'm a Javazon early on, I think that's one of the hacked ones too, Ubio. That's why it's in this stash. If I'm a Javazon early on, whatever, I love getting a Rhyme Shield. Once again, cannot be frozen. Super, super helpful. If I am a Bozon early on, one of my favorite things to get is a Zephyr. Right? Very simple, but it gives me faster run walk. It gives me increased attack speed. And like I said, if I'm shooting off freezing arrows or if I'm shooting off exploding arrows, a bow that has really fast attack speed is really a lot better for me. Stealth, right? This is kind of your basic faster run walk, faster hit recovery. This is the best armor on every character early game. Best armor that you'll find and can make there. So those are very good to have. And then just kind of all your basics, right? Just kind of all your basics. See what else I have over here. I have a lot of like early game stuff in here. But essentially, just look for things that are going to give you plus skills, things that are going to give you increased life, things that are going to give you increased attack speed. Cannot be frozen. Pretty good mod on her. And then resistances, right? Kind of that standard sort of stuff right there. Goblin Toes or something? Yeah, Goblin Toes can be good. Like I'm saying, especially if you're running a physical build. Razor Tail is a great item on her. That is very true. Razor Tail is a great item on her because then you get that penetrate. Or pierce, not penetrate. Which one is it? Pierce. So, yeah. So that's good stuff. So that's the Amazon. Okay, let's switch over. I think we have enough on her. So, let's go look at the Assassin. Right? And let me get a bottle of water really fast, then we'll start the Assassin. A lot of people's favorite character. Not mine. No, I like her for hell speedruns. I do like her for hell speedruns. Once again, stats, pretty balanced. 20, 20, 20, 25. Hit points, pretty good. Stamina, great. Mana, okay. Right? Decent stats to start there. Vitality, 3 life. Vitality, 1.25 stamina, which is more stamina than anybody else gets. And 1 energy is 1.75 mana. It's hard for me to tell you guys how good that stat gain is. She is above average on literally every single stat gain, which is crazy. Like, that's insane. So, above average on every single stat gain, you're going to find that her energy is pretty good. Her vitality, like her life total is really great. She is very, very, very strong. One of the strongest characters, in my opinion, in the game. Her life +2, her stamina +1.25, her mana +1.5. That's just what you get per level. Once again, also quality. Okay. If we look at her faster hit recovery, starts at 9 for 0%. That's fantastic. So again, really great right there. Her faster cast rate, it's okay. It's not fantastic. It's not fantastic faster cast rate. That's probably the weakest stat on here that she has. A lot of times, though, you are not going to be, you're not going to be running that, right? And then that's the number of frames. Yes, so on the left side is the percent that you have. On the right side is the number of frames. Once again, remember that this is based on 25 frames per second, which is the game. Not as bad as the Amazon, it's true. And then her faster block rate is decent as well, right? It's very similar. I think it's the same as that the Amazon has there. So good stuff overall to start right there. Now, if we can take a look in at the character, right? So we already know kind of how she's pumping that up. I'd say I never put energy in on this character. I'd say just from mana that you can get, thanks DJ Waters, mana you can get, plus energy that you'll find on between items, things like that. I never put energy on this character, even when I'm speedrunning. Her stuff doesn't cost enough mana to really warrant needing that, whereas the Amazon sometimes requires a little bit. So you'll just want enough strength for equipment, dexterity if you're running for that block, and then, of course, vitality on her can be fantastic because similar to the Amazon, you're going to get that sick life pool. And when you combine that with stuff like Fade or whatever, it just makes it... she's just so hard to hit. Dual claw block, right? If you want that as well. Like, she is very, very, very strong. And she also has a summon, right? She also has a summon within the Shadow Master. Let's take some points out here just for these purposes. She also has a summon that'll join you and cast things as well, right? So it's pretty sick. So first things first, right? First things first. This character, Psychic Hammer SPM, this character is known for her traps. I would say a lot of people know her for being the trap sin that can blast things away. Early on, this is your boy right here. Early on, Wake of Fire is your boy. You just come out here and drop that. And it just has such a nice spread that you can just drop multiples of that, right? And it just has such a good AoE. Does a lot of damage as well, right? Right now I'm getting 68 to 77 damage on it. Very good for that early to mid game. Eventually it wears out. Wake of Inferno, garbage. Complete and utter garbage. Let me just put these in here for casting purposes. See if we can find a monster or a group. Right. Oh, that's still the wrong one. It's like, that was not it. Right. Wake of Inferno. God, this is normal, by the way. Like, ugh. It's normal Act 1. What a terrible skill. The time it takes, it doesn't matter how much damage it is. The time it takes to cast it, the hit, the bad. Don't ever get this. Yeah, don't ever get this. A lot of people get Blade Shield. Okay. And you don't really need to increase this. This is kind of that 1-point wonder. Really, right? A lot of people like to get this, then you just have a few points in it. This gives you just a duration that will hit things when people get near you, whatever. Right? So you run around. When everybody's near, it does damage to the monsters that are next to you. But I don't know if people ever max this, really. I don't think they do. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I actually like blades. Blades can do a decent amount of damage. I don't have a blades build for you guys. But I'm here to say you can run blades. Because it does percent 3/4, right, of your weapon damage. So you can sit there with Blade Fury and you can shoot out blades and it's doing your weapon, it's doing part of your weapon damage. Right. So she just goes and she shoots out her blades, and however long you hold it, you're shooting blades. And it actually can be not a terrible skill. You can have your blade sentinels rolling if you want. Right. But I like blades. And off weapon damage is multiplied, not additional. There you go. So, like I say, I don't have all of the notes on blades, but you can run a blades assassin, and she's kind of fun in a weird way. I've done a little bit of playing around with her, but nothing crazy. Back to traps, though. So let's say you've gone through, you've done your Wicked Fire. Good, great. Now it's starting to become less effective. What do? You switch over here. Okay, and this is the most common build. Like, I've done a speedrun with blades, is what I mean. But I haven't, like, perfected blades builds or anything. Okay. So, this is the most common right here. You run Shockwave, Charge Bolt, Death Sent. You're right. I'm going to run these 4 in a row right there. Like that. Whatever it is, right? Maxing out those 4. Okay. The reason is these are so good. Okay. Their damage is insanely good, especially when they're maxed out with plus skills, everything like that. You can also stack them, and that's the best way to do it. You can have up to 5 of them out, and they will just blast through and do a ton of damage, right? Shoots 10 times. Fantastic. Fantastic skill. You can make a little smiley face with it if you want, even, right? But no, you can stack them. But what people usually do is they put 1, 2, 3, 4 down of Lightning Sentry and 1 down of a Death Sentry. And the Death Sentry, what it does is it will do Corpse Explode. So if monsters get near to this area, it will blow up the corpses that are next to those monsters to do a corpse explosion. Okay? Which is 40 to 80% of the corpse's life. Fantastic. So you sit down and you find a group of monsters. We're just running in the wrong direction. But you sit down, you get a big group of monsters, whatever it is, or even a few. As long as it's just like a necro, as long as you can get one of them to die at least, you get that corpse explode down, pop that body, and it'll automatically just be corpse exploding, corpse exploding. And if it's not corpse exploding, it also does damage. You can see it's about half the lightning damage, so its purpose is not to be shooting, but to be doing corpse explosions. But very, very, very good, right? That can also be beneficial against lightning immunes. If they're within a mixture of a group, you get that group, you have your lightning sentries, kill those guys, and then the death sentry does the corpse explode to kill the lightning immunes. Okay, very solid. So, you want to be rocking this. What else do you want to be rocking? Martial arts? No, you want nothing in that tree for running this traps in. You don't really care about much over here, but you probably are going to be caring about a little bit of burst of speed. Okay, a little bit of burst of speed. And this also depends how much do you have, and you'll want to use your IAS calculator because it requires increased attack speed. Your attack speed is going to matter what happens here. Okay? How fast I lay this down, that speed right there is based on attack speed, not cast speed. A lot of people get that confused, okay? A lot of people get that confused. Not based on that. That is based on your attack speed. So, when I have burst of speed on, now you can see just how much faster my cast speed is right there of those traps. Or my laying speed, I should say, right? Very good at laying traps when she's doing that. If you want survivability, this right here is a fantastic skill. This will overwrite your burst of speed. So while I can run faster with this and have the attack speed, whatever, if I cast on Fade, I can't have burst of speed on anymore. But now my resistances go up, right? At level 1, my resist all speed is 19. Level 2, it's 27, 33, 38, 42, right? So even if I put 1 point in, if I've got a few extra points from skills, whatever it is, I mean, I can get a lot of resist all on this character. And additionally, this has a hidden physical damage reduction as well for 1 point for every point that I have in it. So at level 10, I have 10% physical DR. Plus all the resistances I gain. It's super, super nice. Okay. Great, great, great to have that. Venom, you're not going to be using on traps. Venom, you'll be using on, if you're melee of some sort. Right. So that is basically what you're running. You're probably not running here. Like I say, you're running burst of speed. But that's probably what you're running for this traps right here. Yeah, Fade is almost viable for a full naked run. Almost. It does pretty well. 10% or minus 10 physical damage. 10%. 10%. It's like I'm wearing a COA that rolled 10% physical DR. Right? That's what it's like. So let's switch over into a little, let's go to some kicking or some martial arts, right? How do we want to rock some martial arts? So the most common, I would say, is Dragon Talon, right? And it depends how many plus skills you have. You can get some in that. And then you can either, some people like to mix this. They do a hybrid, so they'll rock like Death Sentry, Lightning Sentry, and Dragon Talon. I've seen that done before. Otherwise, you're going to be going for, really trying to think about what exactly people use for different like kick builds exactly. I mean, Dragon Flight is pretty decent. You can get Venom, right? So if I'm looking at it, get some Venom, add some poison damage on. And this is poison damage over 0.4 seconds. So it's a lot better. A lot better. I didn't prep for the assassin kick. I was doing a lot of other prep, like building out all of these slides and things like that. So I didn't really build as much for this stuff. But Dragon Talon, I would say everybody uses. This is like the best finisher right here. Yeah, where's my Dragon Flight? This allows me for teleporting, right? So a lot of people like to have that. There. And this is, there's a lot of 1-point wonders within this as well, right? You don't need more points in like Dragon Flight. Whirlwind Assassin is your favorite? Yeah, a lot of people like that. Tiger Strike plus Dragon Tail is fun. Dragon Talon, yeah, a lot of people run that combo right there. But I would say, honestly, this gives you a pretty general sense of it. Like I said, this is one of my weaker. I'll admit it. I'll very much admit my assassin kicks in is pretty weak. I just know people love Dragon Talon. And right, and so you can go and you can build up charges with like Cobra Strike. Right? So I build up my charges, and a lot of these are 1-point wonders. And then when I kick them out, I get the explosion, right? So a lot of people, what's strongest martial arts skill other than finishers? What do you mean? Like for build up? I mean, it's whatever kind of charge up you want, honestly. Only one assassin, that's a Trapson. End of story. It's kind of my thoughts on it, right? No, yeah, you can charge it different ways. So early game, I actually like Fist of Fire for a good build up skill, and the reason is because it does damage in this AOE explosion. So let me go 1, 2, 3. Right, I get that whole exploding area around it. Okay, so I really like Fist of Fire early on. People like Cobra Strike because you get that life and mana steal, right? So it's really good for survivability. People like Tiger Strike because you're just doing crap tons of damage. Look at how much damage you get with Tiger Strike, right? So if I build up Tiger Strike charges, which by the way, you can build up multiple charges. If I build up Tiger Strike charges, like the release of that is so much damage. Okay. So that's kind of, I mean, this is how it works. I would say definitely look up builds for more accurate builds of everything that you're going to want with everything. But Cobra Strike is what a lot of people use. Dragonflight is what a lot of people use. And Dragon Talon is what a lot of people use. Okay, so those are probably like your big 3, and then you can also have some people like to go early or that big Tiger Strike damage as well. Spamming Dragon Talon does more DPS than building Tiger Strike charges. I guess you could do that as well. So having good boots is a very important thing if you wish to be a Kixin. Okay. That is one thing to note, right? And you do, when you have this Dragon Town, you get the 20 kicks, right? Every point that I have in Dragon Talon's adding attack rating and damage to it, and then I'm also getting additional kicks for every point that I have in here. So if I can have multiple kicks, like he was saying, a lot of people just spam this, and that's if I have really good boots with like Crushing Blow, things like that on my character. I can do tons of damage. Tons of damage. Let me go get some boots real fast. Let's go back to town. I've got some like Hasaris or whatever over here. Whatever, right? So you can actually see kick damage. That is a stat that you will have on boots. Kick damage 3 to 8. Where's the kick damage on these ones? Why does that not have a kick damage? Somebody in here probably knows. Upped Gore Riders or Shadow Dancers. There you go. If you have max Crushing Blow. I agree with that. So basically you just get really good boots that have high damage and you can just go kick the crap out of things. It's a set, so yeah, I think it's probably because it's a set that doesn't show kick damage. That's my my assumption. Those are just gonna be the same thing, whatever. Yeah, but you're running chart. If you want to run charge ups, Tiger Strike is a great one that people like to run. I like Fist of Fire, like I said, early on for the AoE. I think that can be a great skill to get you through a lot of the game. This skill for the Life and Mana Steal, 80% Life and Mana Steal with Cobra Strike. And that can be a 1-point wonder as well, right? Just to get those charges. Teleport with this right here. If you want to have a teleport skill, right? A lot of good 1-point wonders within this. And then, of course, you're just maxing Dragon Talon, getting those 4 kicks and crushing things. How good is Fire in Hell? Not great. There's a lot of fire immunes, and it's kind of hard to break them. So, yeah. So that's kind of a look there at the assassin. Like I say, my kick knowledge is not as great. There are definitely better people that have better ideas with kick sins. I just want to give you a general. This is a general sense, not a pro sense of here's exact hardcore builds and everything that's going to go with it, right? Kind of general sense of what it looks like. Burst of speed, fantastic. You're going to want at least that 1 point, right? 1 to 3, kind of 1 to 5. It depends what your plus skills are like on this. But the attack speed, the run walk speed from that, it's great. This also works at the same time that Venom does. So Venom is an amazing skill for PvP. Less so PvM, but it's still decent. But a lot of people get that. And then, of course, if you want to get... Oh, I didn't even talk about Mind Blast. If you want to get a Shadow Master to come join you, this is, once again, kind of like having a Valkyrie with you. Right? Like having that. So, Cloak of Shadows and Mind Blast. Let's talk about those. So, Mind Blast, I love. Mind Blast does 2 things. 1, it can knock a monster back. And you can do this on giant groups of monsters. It also does some damage. You're not going to really be doing damage in the later game with it, but just know that it does some damage. Let me go find a group of monsters that we can all knock back. This is such a great crowd control survival item. Let's just come here. But it also does this thing where it will convert monsters. Okay? I'm killing them before I'm converting them. You can't convert a unique. But you can convert a monster when you Mind Blast them. They then will fight for you. And it's a great way, once again, for crowd control. Now, if I'm running Cloak of Shadows, this is a fantastic, fantastic skill where I'm not going to get hit by these ranged guys, right? So you can see Archer no longer shooting at me. Melee guy is, sure, archers are not. So Cloak of Shadows can be really good when you're running through areas you don't want to be seen as much. Yeah, and Cloak of Shadows stops souls. That's like one of the best notes about it. So crowd control, amazing actually on this character. Mind Blast, Cloak of Shadows, going to give you a lot of, once again, survivability, cloud control ability. You can sit there and Mind Blast, Mind Blast, Mind Blast while you're having your traps just blow everything up. Very good combinations. Or just good in any sense, right? To convert stuff, get it on your sides. Yeah, but that doesn't work on uniques, once again. It will stun and push him back, but it will not convert him, unfortunately. Or champions. Champions also can't be converted. So this is, I mean, if I'm over here, you know, I'm probably running stuff like this, right? This is my like build there, and I can maybe go down and get Shadow Masters if I want, right? If I want to really get in this passive tree. Unless I'm doing physical damage with claws, right? If I have dual claws, this can also be good for chance to block when you're using dual claw weapons, if you want to run that. And then Venom, yada, yada, yada. So a lot to play around with on this character, but basically you're going to be a fire trap early, light trap late. You can mess around with blades if you want. Shadow Master's decent. Mind Blast and Cloak are great. You're always using Burst of Speed or Fade. Always one or the other. And then martial arts, if you want to be a martial artist, Dragon Talon's your main finisher. Here's your teleport. This is your life and Mana Steel. That's damage. That's some AoE explosion. And I don't know people really that use Phoenix Strike that much, if I'm going to be honest. But I guess you could. I haven't met people that use... You could use these, I guess. I just haven't met people that use them as much on these ones. But they're just fun charges to build up if you want. So you can play around with it. If you want to play around with it, you could probably make a character that mixes in all of these. And then you're doing light damage, fire damage, cold damage. And you can probably get through the game, honestly, through hell. Just by charging up and blasting down. So that is a look at the Assassin overall. Hope that was good. Hope you guys learned a few things from it. And we can move on to a more fun character. Mind Blast plus Iron Maiden charges. Thoughts? Iron Maiden doesn't come in charges, I'm pretty sure. So, don't think you can. So the Barbarian now. This is, once again, your tank, right? Huge strength, 30 strength, good vitality, 20 dex, 10 energy, 55 life, 92 stamina to start. Iron Maiden charges are on Metal Grid. Okay, I guess that's the only place that has it then. Mind Blast and Iron Maiden charges. Wouldn't it overwrite? I don't know if you can have both of those. Can you? I've never mixed it like that. I've honestly never mixed. I guess you can have both of them, now that I think about it. So, I mean, it's probably okay. The problem is, when you get to Hell, Iron Maiden's just not near as strong. It's just not near as strong. Yeah, so the Barbarian. So, great hit points, great stamina there, crappy mana. Stat per effect, 411. Look at that in the bottom left. Wow, 4 life for every vitality point. It is really difficult, in my mind, to take points away from vitality from a character who gets 4 life from vitality points. That's so tough. That's so tough in my books. I'll get to the Necro. Additionally, each character level he goes 2-1-1, so he's gaining even more life there. But yeah, every life you can get 20, or every level you can get 22 life added, and then of course you can boost that up throughout. Strong character. Faster hit recovery starts at 9 there. Faster cast rate, actually pretty good. Starts at 13 frames, and then you can work your way down, right? That's the same as the Sorceress has there. And then faster block rate, not as good as the others, but it's okay, right? So that life is super, super strong. Yeah, I'm going alphabetical on him. That life is super, super strong. Look at that. 58, 62, 66, 70. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. So let's look at the Barb. Quick look at the Barb from a backed up standpoint. He's not great without gear. If you want to play him through the game, he's going to be slow because he's melee. And so you're going to be running out. And I'm level 99, so that's going to help me. But your chance to hit is going to be garbage. And you're going to hit one at a time. And it's going to be slow. That's just how it's going to go, right? Slowest character in the game by far. One of my favorite ways to run him is with the Warcry build, where you just bump up your Warcry. You can bump up all this fun stuff, right? Howl, Taunt, Battle Cry. Bump up all these, max, whatever. And then you go out and you yell things to death. This is honestly the fastest Barbarian without gear. Without good gear. So let me find a group of stuff. You just yell. You kill everything. It's so silly. It's so silly. But that is that's the first Barb that I'll talk about. Warcry. It does damage, and it has a great stun. Look at that, 4.8 seconds. So it's got crowd control, and it's got not great damage, but it's okay. I'll get rid of that. Barbarian, you are always going to have this. Okay? You're always going to be running battle orders. Because you can see I have 54 life now. Now I have 103 life. Right? Always, always, always. You'll always have 1 point in battle command. And 1 point in shout, and maybe more if you're going to be really a support person. But you'll shout up your battle command, which will boost all of your other skills by 1. And then you'll shout your battle command again so you can get the increased duration. And then you'll shout your battle orders. And then you can shout your shout. And increase your defense. So super, super, super. This is the team party hero, right? We talked about this before. This is the team party hero. Always going to have this. What are other amazing skills on him? Find item. Okay. This right here, a lot of people write this off. They think, oh, that's just a dumb skill, whatever. If you want to be a magic find hero, let me get some damage real fast to kill. Right. You're going to sit there, pop open all the bodies, and it's like another chance at magic finding. A lot of people don't realize you can find a main song with this. Yeah. It is a second chance to find an item from a slain monster. Very, very, very good skill. A lot of people don't realize it. Am I dumping a ton of points into it? No, you can see it really dies out. But, you know, I put 1 point in it and have plus skills, and I'm totally fine. Great for things like the council. Totally agreed. Grim Ward, this might be the most useless skill in the game. I don't think you're ever getting Grim Ward. What's the best thing I found? Ubio, what's the best thing you found using it? What's the best thing you have found using? And it sets up a stupid ward that frightens. So dumb. Oh my god. It's such a stupid skill. Whoa, now they're scared. There you go. Ubio found griffins with it. Whoa, they're so scared. Oh. Okay. Yeah, pretty worthless. You're probably not using this skill. So, and also you're probably not using much over here, except taunt is actually pretty good because you're getting that minus attack and minus damage, right? Battle cry also really good. So honestly, you can spend a lot over here, or you can spend 1 point and just have 1 point wonders on a lot of this stuff. Okay. So if I'm battle crying, which I'll do a lot of times, that's going to lower the defense and damage of that monster, right? Or like I say, I can taunt things, and taunting I can use for pulling monsters out. So now, let me get there's taunt. If I want to get a monster to come chase me, let's say they're an archer, and I don't want them shooting at me. Where's my taunt at? There it is. I can taunt it and force it to walk over towards me. Right? Great for dragging waves out. Great for all sorts of things like that. Taunt is an amazing skill. Let's get out of there. Super useful against ranged attackers. So there's a lot of use in the Warcry tree. Like I say, battle orders for you're going to be getting this because maxing out life, mana, stamina, all that, super good. Taunt, you're not maxing it. It's a 1 point wonder though, that will get that drag. Howl, people like to use Howl, but you're going to have to be a high enough level to make sure you can use it to scare the monsters away. Another good crowd control. War Cry is a good crowd control for just that stun. Max Taunt on a Frenzy Barb, so you can drop their damage and attack by a lot. I guess if you want, yeah. I'm putting not a ton into this one, personally. But I guess it just depends how much you want to drop their damage and stuff like that. Like I say, I like using Battle Cry. Oh, Taunt Synergy for Frenzy. That's why. Okay. For the 8% magic damage or damage per level. That makes more sense. I was like, I don't know why you're maxing it. But that's why you're maxing it. Otherwise, get one. Say how. How am I saying it funny? So a lot of good use over here. A lot of good use. Fine Potion, also pretty worthless, right? Over here, Iron Skin gets your defense up. It's not bad. Defense isn't the most important skill, but it's good. Natural Resistances, right? This is great. This is going to help you get your res up. Personally, if I'm struggling with Resistances, I'll put like 4 or 5 points over here, right? Getting a nice 40 res until I can get stuff to help out is super solid. Increased stamina, worthless. Increased walk speed, that's great. That's another one you just have that 1 point in. Let your plus skills really boost up. You kind of do that with natural resistance as well. Okay, because you want to be able to get that increased run walk speed. It's actually super helpful. This calculates different from faster run walk that your items give you, and that something like vigor gives you, and all of that stuff. If you're using Harmony Bow or whatever. So the way that run walk calculation works is it basically adds your skills, and that has its own diminishing returns. Your items, and that has its own diminishing returns. Right? There's like multiple places. So increased speed is a solid one, though can be detrimental on Whirlwind. Fair. Is Iron Skin worth it? I mean, I don't like really buffing it up a ton. If you're going for that max defense, you could if you had extra points, but personally, I'm putting those points elsewhere. Masteries are great. Know what weapons you're going to use, and this is always really difficult. And this is why respecs are invented as well, right? And why, excuse me, the Barbarian prior to respecs was so like, because you'd sit there, and if you didn't have a respec and you built your character to use axes, you always had to use axes, right? Forever. Otherwise, you'd have wasted points there. So polearm, throwing, spear, mace, axe, sword. Like I say, whichever one you're going to use, you want that maxed out. It's very nice, right? Good damage increase, chances of crit strike, things like that. So let's get to the main stuff now. I'm a barbarian. What am I running? There's a few things. First one people like to run is they like to run the Whirlwind Barb, right? Now you have to note that early on, the damage is actually negative percentages. So you're actually going to have a worse damage there early on until you can get enough skill points into Whirlwind here. It also doesn't have synergies, but the Whirlwind is a really fun skill, right? You can sit there and, right, you get to spin through and do a bunch of attacks. And if you move slower, I guess you're doing more attacks. If you have increased attack speed, you're moving too quickly, according to Ubio there. So you're getting more attacks per hit. But just a fun skill. Note that you can't use potions during the time you're whirlwinding. Also, if you do long whirlwinds, you get stuck in that long whirlwind. So a lot of people do short whirlwinds, because this gives you more flexibility, a little more freedom, right? As opposed to doing really long ones. Okay, so people like doing that. Second thing people like really doing is well, some people like doing a double throw barb. Okay, but Frenzy. I'd say Frenzy is one of the other most popular builds right there. Spin in a triangle. Sorry. Right, a lot of people like running Frenzy. And I don't have a second weapon on. So let me go get that real fast. Sure. Double swing is great. Double swing is amazing for early, and actually it's also really good for when you have some frenzy charges going. Because frenzy's kind of slow. And then double swing, you're like, whack, 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 right? But with frenzy charges, you get that short burst of attack speed and run walk speed whenever you have that frenzy going on around you. And that's going to increase your speed on everything. So then if I want a double swing, I can really start going. Whirlwind's great. Well, there is no Iron Maiden in Chaos Sanctuary anymore. Because they are murderers. But yeah, so Frenzy's really strong, and it's going to increase every time you get a successful hit. You're boosting your fast run walk, boosting your attack speed. Yeah, both those. And so you're moving really fast. So a lot of people like that Frenzy, and then you're of course maxing double swing with that. And like I say, you can swap into it if you want even faster hits once you get going with your Frenzy. Then you swap into double swing. It's like, right, goes crazy on it. So that's really nice. And then you're maxing Taunt, and you can get Berserk for if you want to add magic damage in there as well. I don't know if I always do that. Concentrate is a great skill for increasing that attack rating. So I've made a Concentrate barb before that just has like a big maul and just goes in with Concentrate and just whacks away. Berserk, you're going to drop your defense down to like nothing, but you're going to increase your damage and attack rating. So I've also made a Berserk barb before. Very strong hero, right? So I like having it. Magic damage is not added, it replaces physical damage. Gotcha. So I like actually running Berserk. Personally. I think it's kind of a fun, silly build. But you are going to be dropping it down. So Concentrate is usually what I end up running. Berserk's good for handling Fizz Immune. Yeah, I like running Concentrate against like a boss or something like that. So what's best boss killer for Barbarian? Probably some sort of Frenzy double swing with... how's the best synergy for Berserk? 10% damage per level. Yeah, that's nice. Probably some sort of Frenzy or double swing, because you're getting so many hits in. If you have good crushing blow and stuff, then that's just going to do a ton of damage. So, yeah. And then leap attack is one of those also if you don't have teleport. Great skill to get you out of danger, to get you over ledges. Yeah, that's a good point. You just howl them and then scare them away. Woo! So yeah, you can just howl, scare things away, and then run up and berserk something. And then that is a decent synergy. So, a lot of good stuff on a barbarian. The problem, of course, is once again, your melee, and whenever you're doing melee with physical damage, that's going to be a big piece of what your character has to have and do. And melee is just worse off in this game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you have to be melee, it's just going to be worse. But, you know, that is what it is. So, 1 point for leap attack, great to leap around. Concentrate if you want to be conch barb. Whirlwind if you want to be a whirlwind barb. Frenzy if you want to be a frenzy barb, right? And then you get that double swing. And double swing is probably the best early skill. Bash is, you know, not great. Stun, whatever. Double throw, some people like it, but whatever. Barb's melee, but he's the best melee, yeah. But double swing is a very solid early game skill. And then, like I said, pick your mastery of what you're going to get. Get a point in increased speed, get a point in natural res, get a point there. Make sure you've got battle orders, get some shout, 1 point in battle command, and then get whatever crowd control pieces you want with that stuff. Now, I was getting there. On to leap. So leap is probably the most broken skill in the game. I want to say it's the most broken skill in the game, and they didn't realize how broken it is. So I'm going to show you how broken it is. Okay, let's take this group of monsters here. If I leap, I knock him back. If I keep leaping, and this is the edge of my screen, mind you guys. If I keep leaping, nothing can enter my screen or ever touch me. As long as I leap under myself, nothing can enter my screen or touch me because it's so broken. Barb OP. So, if you want to talk about most OP character, and especially for a party, to have, it's a barbarian with max leap. Because if you're in the Chaos Sanctuary and your party's having difficulties, whatever, as long as you have a barb who you can just gather around and stand on top of who is leaping, and make sure it's tiny leaps, remember. Tiny leaps like that, they're not even on my screen. Right? This has a radius of 16.6 yards. 16.6 yards. Let me get something real fast for you guys. Savage image. Add image. MrLlamaSC. One more. Boom. This is the yardage for the game. Right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Which means I am literally stunning the entire screen. When I leap, I get to literally stun my entire screen. And it does a knockback, and they can't react during that knockback, and I can leap and land before they can gather themselves again. Yeah, so broken. Just a broken skill. If you have a party that's having difficulties, tell them to come on you, and you'll just go up and down, and they'll just be right like under you. And then nobody can touch them. Yeah, it works on uniques as well. So great there. So really a good party character, like I say. And then if you get battle orders as well, you're boosting up your teammates as well with shout, battle orders, battle command. You're giving a skill level to all of them. You know, very strong. One of the strongest characters, one of the hardest characters to die on, but takes a while to really do some good damage. You know, takes a while to really do some damage. So that is the barbarian, kind of a look. If you're looking for items, and I'll do itemization for characters more later, but just kind of some basic stuff, right? How do I like to start this character out? I love to get this. Do I have another flail? Where's the other one? Is that it? Malice. These are my two favorite starter flails when I'm level 15 and 17. The reason is because this means I don't have to actually hit them a lot, right? The chance of hit, we already went over kind of chance to hit, what that kind of looks like. Chance to hit isn't great. So if I can have things that do damage over time, that's going to be better for this character early on. So Tau 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 is a lot of poison damage over time, which means I only have to hit once every 5 seconds to reapply. Malice has a chance of open wounds, which is going to give a damage over time. That's what open wounds does. That's a 100% chance. So, and it also has minus to monster defense per hit. So when I'm hitting with both of these things, it's allowing me to hit more often, and it's also giving me that chance to hit. You know, I don't have to have such a great chance to hit, and I can still do a lot of damage. So these are good early. As I move up and become a melee character later on, I'm going to start looking at bringing in things that have crushing blow, like a black rune word or whatever. We've got a passion here if I want to be a zeal for whatever reason. Trying to see what other weapons I have over here. There's a lot of things in here that aren't great. That's 300 poison damage over 8 seconds. Isn't terrible. But there's a lot of weapons that I just would never use in here. That's not bad. I also like cold damage. Like this has. I like cold damage a lot because cold damage is going to be, and also the increased attack speed. Cold damage slows them down, which is going to be really, really solid for my character. Where's that Rixot's Keen? Do I have one in here? Maybe. No. Oh yeah, there it is. So Rixot's Keen is great for early game as well if you can get it. Gets that crushing blow. Fantastic for bosses. Other monsters, whatever. Bosses, yeah, I like it. And I also like the blood letters if you want to be a whirlwind barb. I think blood letters are kind of fun. Just for early on, at least. So that is kind of a look at the barbarian and some basics of him, some skills, some builds, where you're kind of putting stuff. If you want attack rating, dexterity is not the best source for that, right? You can see me dumping all my points to try and get that. It's okay. Better off getting like better off getting the like set. I can't think of the set's name. Angelic set, whatever it is. Check out what clip. We have a party that's having difficulty. No, we can't be clipping right now. I mean, you guys can clip, but yeah, plus flat AR items are really, really good. Yeah, Angelic's is great. So things that give 2 base attack rating are really good, and then you'll get some sort of attack rating multipliers, and that's going to help you up, help you hit things a ton. So if you're finding that you're struggling to hit things, my best advice: 1 Raven Frost for cannot be frozen and attack rating, 1 Angelic Ring, 1 Angelic Ammy. That is your jewel set, and that will do enough for you. Yeah, and like Ubio says, a lot of your skills give that attack rating percentage boost, right? To attack, 150%, 170%, 191%, whatever, right? So when I have Frenzy going, my Frenzy attack rating is 271 over 85. If I'm now at 1,000 attack rating, now I have 2,700 attack rating just from that. Plus, if I have 1 point in the combat, whatever weapons I'm using, that's going to boost that up as well. So it just, all of that stuff will work. So really just get a few things that can add some base attack rating and you're pretty solid. And that is the Barbarian. That's the Barbarian. Moving on to the Druid. Yeah, flat adds and percent applies. Moving on to the Druid. One of the worst good characters, I will say. Let's look here. We have 2 to life, 1 to stamina, 2 to mana. Great mana gain, I guess, but he doesn't really need mana, so 1 stamina standard. 2 life is low. 2 life is very, very low. That is the lowest that it gets for the life gain. His character, each per character level, you're gaining not much life. Once again, 1.5 and 1 and 2 mana. So really, you get a lot of mana Not a lot of life. They had to do this for this character for a reason I'll explain soon, but it makes him really weak in terms of life. If we look at his base starting stuff, 55 hit points, that's actually not bad. His stats are okay, 15, 20, 25, 20, whatever. Kind of on the lower end, whatever. But if you go to his breakpoints, faster hit recovery starts at 13 frames. Faster cast rate starts at 18 frames. Ugh. And faster block rate starts at 11 frames. He is slow in every single thing. Remember, all the other characters' block rates were like 5 frames they would start at. Or the faster cast rate was, 13 frames, besides the Zon, who's like 19. This character is slow in all of his breakpoints and doesn't have good life gain. That is a big con of this character. Now, let's jump into what the character actually looks like. Why is this character like this? Well, first off, he has Oak Sage. Oak Sage is an amazing skill. Great for a party, great for you, everything like that. Because when you pump out that Mr. Oak Sage there, your life total is going to go up, and I have to go outside to see it. 54 to 121. So it's like a battle orders, but better, pretty much. Except it can die, of course. 125% life for having this guy out. That's pretty dang good. You can't really beat that. This is why they have to make his life total as is, because otherwise his life, it just gets really, really strong. How does it interact with battle orders? Just another multiplier on top, I'm pretty sure. So you get crazy life, 4,000, 5,000 life, or whatever when you're fully lifed up. Plus you got BO and this rolling. So very, very strong. Their percent adds, yeah, and then it becomes a multiplier overall. Poison Creeper, Carrion Vine, actually not terrible. I won't lie. This right here replenishes your life. I don't really get it a ton, but a lot of people swear by having a vine rolling around with you. The bear is one of the best mercenary dudes you can create as well. Right, so remember how I talked about the whatever lady, Valkyrie. Bear is also extremely solid, and his life total is based on what difficulty you're in. Normal, Nightmare, Hell, his life total will actually go up, and then he'll also gain damage and life and stuff like this from having points in these skills. Right, so you can see, yeah. But I think he also gets a bonus, right, for what difficulty is in. That's his starting life. So this is, now he's a 4,000 life bear. Now he's a 4,000 life bear. He's doing okay for himself. Who's doing 1,000 damage a hit, right? Dude is strong, great tank. And then if I get my Oak Sage up as well, this also gives my bear more life. So now this bear has like 9,000 life or something like that. If it's bear plus this guy, right? My Oak Sage, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. So yeah, attack rating, life, and damage. And don't forget, getting plus skills from other like items. So if I get a +2 to summon Spirit Wolf, that will help out my Grizzly Bear. Whereas it's not a synergy, right? This isn't technically like a synergy. It doesn't work the same way. It's just the number of points, hard and soft skill points that you put in will help out with the other ones. So you can make insanely stacked summoning druids with those things. Ravens, whatever. Spirit of the Barbs, whatever. Heart of the Wolverine, whatever. I mean, really, I feel like you're running Oak Sage. You know, I've seen people run the other ones a little bit, but you're running Oak Sage because that life total is insane. If you want to be an elemental druid, early, Fissure is your daddy. Okay, this is probably one of the most OP skills in the game. Yeah, Ravens don't have a life bar, just a number of hits till they die. You just set it up. It's like a blizzard on the ground. Things walk into it and they die. Fissure is amazing. You can just roll right into it from Firestorm. Right? You just roll right into it from Firestorm. Get yourself really good Fissure damage. You can do this early on. Very good. Volcano, not a great skill, but it can be okay if you put it right underneath a boss. So like you drop a bunch of volcanoes right underneath Bale or something, it can be okay. Overall though, not that great. This character is easy to speedrun normal in, yes. Armageddon. Does anybody actually make an Armageddon character? I feel like it's just a joke. It's just a slow drop of damage that follows you. It's bad. I made one once actually. It's such a bad skill. So nobody really gets Armageddon. So yeah, when you're starting out, you're gonna be Firestorm, you're gonna be Fissure. Molten Boulder is nice for anything that is fire immune because it's half fire, half physical damage. So the physical damage will actually really help. And it has little knockbacks. You can like knock and do a lot of hits on it. Yeah. The effect is cool on it, but I think the issue is it just doesn't hit a lot. Okay, so now, boom, I've got there, I've done fire for a while. Now what do I do, Mr. Llama? Because my fire is becoming more and more ineffective, which it will over time. You switch into this right here. So you're going to be a tornado druid with a hurricane around him. Okay. You're going to be a tornado druid with a hurricane right around him with cyclone armor. And you'll note if you look at the cyclone armor, how I am gaining absorbed damage there. That's really nice. Right? So I would max it out exactly like this. Have all these maxed out. And you'll get to hear the beautiful sound that everybody loves. And you just run around with this puppy. You put on your armor. So now when I have this armor on, this will protect me from elemental damage. So I have to take 1,393 elemental damage before that will break off, and I will take a single actual loss of life from elemental damage. So if you walk in and a bunch of souls are shooting at you and stuff like that, as long as you can keep this up, you will never take a lick of damage from them. Now, what is so great about Hurricane and Tornado and this stuff, right? So Tornado, what's the crappy part about Tornado? The pathing is awful. Look where I'm clicking, right here. Look where my tornado is ending up. Right? Sometimes they go straight to where you want. Other times they veer off in wrong directions. It's got charged bolt pathing on it. This is one of the most annoying things. If you want twisters, twisters can actually be good because they have kind of a stun and there's multiple. But of course, look at the damage drop off that you're getting by putting down twisters instead of dropping tornadoes in. Right. So really, you can just use that for the stun if you want. But most people are going to be using tornado. So, tornado and hurricane, let's talk about it again. Why is this combination so good? The reason it's so good is because hurricane is physical damage. You can look right here and see what damage it is. Tornado deals its damage twice. There you go. Tornado is physical damage. Hurricane is cold damage. So for a monster to be able to be resistant to you, difficult for you to kill, impossible for you to kill, it needs to be both cold resistant and physical resistant, which is just such a rare combination. Okay? Such a rare combination to see that. And you don't really see that. And so that's why this character is probably one of the best characters to go through the game with, I would say. Even though he's got garbage stat gain and, some garbage with his block rate and hit recovery and cast rate, whatever. All that's pretty trash. But this right here makes it so it's easy to just walk forward, get to that next area, get to that next character, whatever it is. It's very solid. Now, if you don't want to do either of these, right, those are basically your two builds. You're going to do fire right there. You're going to do cold right there. You can run fire late game if you're, but it's not, you have to run that in very specific areas, right? So only a place where there's not really fire immunes could you run fire, but there's a lot of fire immunes there. There's the other options of being a bear druid or being a werewolf, right? You can be one or the other. You're going to be getting your lycanthropy, right? Because you want to be increasing that life and increasing the duration of it. You're going to be buffing up these for attack speed or for, damaged, whatever, right? Sorry, Ubio, I got two. And then rabies is a great skill. It has a spreading effect, so let's become a wolf. And when you're in wolf form, you're actually going to have different things from when you're in, like all those breakpoints are going to be different. So you'll want to go look that up. Let's go this way. So this is going to be rabies. We'll take a look at how rabies plays. Right. So rabies has that spreading effect where you hit one and you get to spread that poison to monsters around it, which is really nice. Really, really cool. Yo, thanks, OD. And thank you, Uriel, as well. So rabies good for that. Feral Rage is going to get you that life, that attack speed and get you life steal. If whereas Fury frames are still bugged, I don't know. What a lot of people like to do with this character, thank you Justify as well for the sub, appreciate that. What this people like to really do with this character is they get a really strong two-handed weapon. Then they go into wolf form and then they just, right, they just wail away with probably not rabies in that case. They're probably doing like Fury, right? When wear form attacks either multiple adjacent targets or one target, right? So they're going in and they're getting their Fury and they have a really, really strong Feral Rage is probably the best one. Yeah, because it has the lifesteal on it. And the run walk speed and all that stuff's really nice as well. Yeah, I don't know if it's still bugged, but right. It's just like kind of like a zeal attack for a druid. So Fury's not bad. Rib Cracker, that's right. You get yourself a nice Rib Cracker. You can also put a bow or a crossbow there if you want. That's true. That's true. So just get a strong two-handed weapon, and you go in, and then Feral Rage, like I say, for the walk run speed, the lifesteal, damage, attack, whatever increase. Rabies, if you're having a lot of trouble and you just want to get your poison damage to hit once, right? Having trouble hitting, maybe you want to get that to hit and spread. And then Fury, it can be really good just for the amount of times that you can hit. You can do a lot of good damage with that. If you're Bear, Shockwave is pretty good crowd control. Look at the stun length on this, right? Like, look at how much stun length I'm getting. I'm not getting a lot of damage from it. It's not there for damage. But, let's go Bear form. So, when I'm doing this, I send out that. Right there. Right there. Let's see if we can find a group. I guess I'm going to kill them, unfortunately. But you can just get a stun. If you don't kill, you can just sit there, stun for, what is that, 11 seconds? I can stun for with that. Kind of crazy. And same sort of thing, I can spread out based on how far I shoot that shockwave. So not great for damage, but very good for that. I like fire claws. You get a lot of fire damage. You can keep all your fire damage, and you can still have some good damage right here. But this is, once again, I mean, the lifesteal for hunger is kind of insane. Right. Very, very, very good lifesteal. And the bear is just a tank. Absolutely is a tank. It's kind of insane how much life he has, right? This is 170% right there, and then you can get your max life up even more over there. So you're just boosting your life totals up like no other when you do that. So that's kind of a basic look in at the druid, right? You can be a wolf, and you're probably using those. You can be a bear. You can be a wind druid that has that cold and physical damage, or you can be a fire druid. So that's kind of the 4 choices. I guess you could also be a summoner if you really want, right? And you can have that. Maul's not good. Maul's good that it has that stun, but that's all that it has, really, right? The damage is okay. I don't know. I haven't made a ton of bear druids, I won't lie. So when I made mine, I was using fire claws and kind of mix and matching. I think I was running Armageddon with it and, you know, kind of mess around. Hunger is really nice for all the lifesteal. So I didn't play it around a ton with things like Maul, honestly. But I mean, the damage, it doesn't look bad. It actually doesn't look bad for its increasing damage. So successive hits, increasing damage, it probably could actually be okay. But I haven't used a bear enough. You would have to look at a proper bear guide. I'm just saying it is a viable option. And like I say, with your summons, super OP, super OP. You know, and you can use you know, one of these if you want. These have very niche uses. Maul works great with Shockwave. There you go. And because people love a bunch of ravens, you can get your ravens up. And these have no HP. They're pretty garbage, but they do blinding hits for like no damage. So people like the ravens though. So that's kind of a look at the druid right there, right? And some of the options. When I'm putting stuff in here, I'm never putting anything in energy on the druid. I don't think ever. He can support himself easily with mana. His life, his gain, if we go back and look, his mana gain per level, it all works out to be enough. If I'm a shapeshifter, I'm probably putting a lot in dexterity. Otherwise, I'm probably just maxing out vitality on this guy. Something like that. All right. Next one. Next one. Ugh. All right, we should just skip this character. I am not Zeba. So, a look into the Necromancer. What is it about this character that is good, that's bad, that's whatever, right? Let's take a look over here. Similar stats, right? 15, 25 dex. Feels kind of wasted almost on this character. Kind of a weird start point for that. Low vitality, though. Low vitality to start. His hit points start at 45, very low. 25 mana is decent. Vitality, 2 to life. for every vitality point. Also going to be low. It's the same as the druid, right? Same druid character level and stat per effect. It's just very low. So that's one of the places. That's one of the cons of this character. Faster block rate, not great. Faster cast rate, okay, but not great. Slower than Sorceress and Barb and other things like that. Faster hit recovery is okay. Very middle of the line. Dex for all the daggers. That's right. That's a good point. Daggers, man. Very middle of the line with this character. So a look in at what this character does and what makes him good. First things first. All this stuff. All this stuff makes him very good. Okay. One of the best things, or the best thing about this character, is he is the strongest summoner in the game. Very, very, very strong. First off, Skelly Mages suck. Don't get them. Revives are good stuff. Revives are great. Golems, I like a clay golem personally. You want summon resist, by the way. Summon resist is fantastic. So if I'm going for a build, a summoner build, I'm probably looking somewhere around like this. I wonder if mastery is better than. That's probably better to max the golem. There's some audio pops. Really? That's annoying. I probably need to restart or something. Man. Sorry, guys, for the audio pops. I don't know what's going on with it. I have the filter thing on it as well. So, don't you hold shift to insta-skill? No, it doesn't work like that on this. So if I'm rolling it, here's probably some way that I'm rolling, right? I'm getting my golems, I'm getting my skeletons, I'm getting my revives, whatever it is. And let's put these in so I can raise you. Right, and I'll just sit there and you'll raise your army. Right, you'll raise your army. And you can revive dudes as well, right? So then you get this giant army of all these guys, and the more that you kill, the better it is, blah, 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 blah. Right. Whee! So in the end, all I have to do is stand in the middle and let my army run around, and they'll do everything that I need. It's fantastic. So this is what makes the Necro great, is this. And if you have an Enigma and you teleport around, all your monsters appear on top of you, and it's great. What about Fire Golem? Honestly, I like Clay Golem because it slows down. It slows like bosses and stuff, and so I'm always a fan of that. Yeah. AFK till his souls get you. That's true. He's great for Mega Lair. Not at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the Fire Golem that much. I prefer the Clay Golem over the Fire Golem personally. That's just me. That's just me. Some people like the Fire Golem. Not even fire immune. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, absorbs % of fire damage. But yeah, he's okay. He's okay. So, this is kind of a rough look, I'd say. I don't like Blood Golem. Shares with you the damage it receives. Nah, I'm good. This is... I got passed on by Shroud for a host. Why would he even be looking over here? That doesn't even make sense to me, Ogears. This is a very good character right there for it, right? Curses wise, this is what amplifies it. So if you're a summoner, Mage Skellies are terrible. They are. I don't like them at all. This is what makes this guy fantastic. Iron Golem and Cheetos Might. No. No. So amplified damage, great skill. Just 100% more damage taken. Super, super strong. Can Confuse can be good, right? To make monsters if you're in trouble, you can do that. Decrepify is a fantastic skill for slowing and increasing damage. You pick someone else playing this game? I gotta go look at this. That's kind of crazy. So he looked right over and then was like, nah. Oh, recliner. Brutal. So close, man. Whatever. Maybe I should have actually been playing it instead of new guides, right? So, life tap can be helpful if you want that. I mean, there's Iron Maiden. There's so many good curses. There's so many good curses here. I had too many viewers. Whatever. It's fine. There's so many good curses in this for this character and in this game who wasn't established. Rip. That honestly you can go through any of them. Lower resist you'll use in a party. You're probably not going to use it here, but decrepify I would say, amplify damage I would say, and life tap. You're probably looking at those ones for keeping your monsters alive, slowing them down, right? You can use decrepify and clay golem on Bale, and that's going to slow Bale down to basically nothing at all. But really, really look through your curse tree. And it doesn't require a lot, right? A lot of these, it's just a radius and a duration. So increasing it isn't, you don't need to put extra points and max them out, right? Maybe low res if you want to drop the resistances more. But besides that, I mean, it's fine, right? Like I'm sitting here, I've got decrepify. I've got, you know, whatever it is, four seconds of it, and I can just sit there and have my army wailing away. Decrepify. 2, 3, 4, decrepify, right? So like as long as I've got my army and stuff, I can do that. And it's just, all it does is it makes it a bigger, right? Makes it longer. Sorry, this one doesn't make it bigger, it just makes it longer. Ones that make it, that are bigger for it are like amplified damage. Decrepify does make Bale broken. Yes, I went over that. So like here, I get a really big amplified damage range. So now everything takes amplified damage. But that's the summoner. It's solid. It is a solid build. It's boring to me. I know I've said that, but it is very solid, right? Beyond that, get into kind of the more intricate, and you'll use curses in a lot of ways, even if it's just basic little things. Bone armor is very, very good for this character. So, and what's funny is you actually get more by putting into the synergies than you do get by putting into bone armor. No, it's fine. Like that's, I mean, I'm happy to have people in the Diablo community, honestly. That's like the best thing ever if people are seeing Diablo 2. So I love it. And I'm not doing anything interesting for them, I don't feel like. I feel like I'd have to be playing to be interesting there. So getting this bone armor, this is similar idea to cyclone armor that we saw in the druid. You're going to be just boosting your physical damage that you can absorb. Same exact idea, except it's physical damage instead of elemental damage, right? And the more that you boost up these things, the better it is for your bone armor absorption, right? So you can see right here, my next level, if I put one skill into bone armor, it would be 400, absorbs 420 damage. With 1 point there, it's 425 damage. So I get more damage absorbed from per synergy than I do from this, like I said. Thank you, Food Strike. Probably pulling the gain down a touch. I didn't like, I literally haven't changed my microphone at all. I just had the, I mean, it's honest, it probably just needs to be restarted or there's something weird with all that stuff. Filters, I've got that filter on still. That was doing whatever it was. I don't know. I don't even, did I adjust this for some reason? Maybe that's what I did. I might have bumped that and pushed it up too much. I'll lower it down a tiny bit. Anyways, you're getting 0 audio issues? Oh no. So let's get to the important stuff. Mic is fine. Cool. Let's get to the important stuff. Because this is all just like good for crowd control, right? Let me show you. This is literally what this character does. This is why the character gets boring. Because you do this and nothing can touch you. So that's this character. Okay. Bone Prison. Greatest skill in the game. Much better than Bone Wall. Because Bone Wall is just laying like a wall. See, there's a lot of like holes in walls and stuff. But Bone Prison, fantastic. Okay. So, great crowd control skill. Second most broken, or first most broken according to Max Schaefer, skill in the game. Corpse Explosion. So let's get Corpse Explosion here. Let's go to that Sand Black Marsh. Look at that. Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion. I literally have not killed a single monster. I've just walked around and corpse exploded everywhere. Right? It's very good. And the more points you have in it, the larger the radius is for that corpse explosion. And once again, I will show you. Here is the radius. I know it's a little ugly, but 2, 4, 6, 8 going outwards, and then 8 to the top of that circle there. So at 8 yards, it's a huge radius. And then additionally, you can do amplified damage on this, and then the damage from corpse explosion is even greater, and it's insane, right? So great combinations mixing your corpse explosion with something like amplified damage. Very good combos right there. Teeth, very good early on. Eventually falls off because it just doesn't do enough damage, right? And the reason it doesn't do enough damage is because they don't stack. So if I'm here and I take a shot, all these teeth shoot out. Even if I shoot it like this in this path, and I'll kill them here, but even if I shoot it like this and it's all tight, only one tooth can hit each monster. Only one tooth can hit each monster. And that really, really makes it difficult. That really makes it difficult for this character to do well. Right? There's no shotgun. There's no, yeah, exactly. It's one tooth per character, so it will fall off. But where this character gets really good is Bone Spear and later on Bone Spirit. Bone Spear and later on Bone Spirit. In PvP too, yep. But you're not using teeth in PvP. You're using Bone Spear. Spear has great damage and it has that piercing effect, whereas Spirit does that chase and one shot, right? So Spirit would be better for bosses. Spear is going to be better for pretty much everything else. And this is magic damage as well, which is pretty good, right? So you can mix and match this all, and obviously you want to be getting all of these synergies. So you're getting Bone Wall and Bone Prison, which is going to increase your bone armor, right? And then you're getting Teeth and Bone Spear. And Bone Spirit there. So you're going bam, 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 bam. Those 5 skills you're maxing out. And then you can get like a golem to come along with you. And maybe like 1 point amp damage for corpse exploding if you want to do some corpse explosions with it. But, yeah. So this is kind of what you're going to look like on this character. This is the main character. You're either running a summoner, you're running this right here where you've maxed out your teeth and you're maxing out. Yeah, amp is just for corpse explosion. Exactly. Not for this. It won't increase your damage about this. Only for corpse explosion. And then you just kind of run around and shoot bone spears and shoot bone spirits. I mean, you're mostly shooting bone spirits, like I said. And then you're going to be caging monsters in. So this is the safest, in my opinion, most boring build in the game. Well, Summoner can be boring as well. But it's boring in that nothing can touch you right? I sit there, I just wall everything in. They will hit the walls, and then I just shoot bone spears through them, and then I can do corpse explosions when I want to do corpse explosions as well, right? Like, that's it. Yeah, and you can also Iron Maiden the guys hitting the wall, and they will kill themselves. But Iron Maiden, like I said, later on doesn't do great. Souls will kill you through walls? True. Souls will kill you through walls. There's a couple monsters. I think ghosts will also fly through them. And the ancients can sometimes be difficult to trap there. But no, they won't protect that way. So regardless, it can be very strong. If you're ever in a tough situation, you just wall up like a madman, and then you shoot your bone spears. Call it Gucci. So that is the main. Yeah, you can dim vision souls. That's true. That's the thing. You can always curse, and you know, curse whatever things you want and deal with them that way. And that always kind of works very easily. Show Poison Nova. So that right there was the Bone Necro. That's going to be the most common Necro next to Summon Necro. I think both of those are pretty common. Remember, with Summon Necro, you want Summon Resist. When you go Poison, you're going to be maxing Poison. Poison is garbage unless you have amazing gear. You need to have a Death's Web. You need to have anything and everything Poison facets. You need to have Poison everything. Otherwise, it's just not good damage. It's one of you. It's super cool looking too. You know, and you can do tons of damage, whatever. And obviously, this is normal, and it looks really cool. But it's just not a good build. Like I say, unless you have good enough stuff. Like, and that means Death's Web. That means everything with that. Everything and anything that's gonna give plus minus poison, skills, all that. So it looks really cool. No, this doesn't do anything to lower your poison resist or anything. It's just shooting that. Then you can do this and that'll drop poison on, you know, it's like a corpse explosion, but for poison damage. Bramble, Trang Out gloves, and Skull, Death's Web, and lower res. Yep. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing is you're running lower resistance here. Right. What up, Unfairchild? So you're running a lot of, you know, your lower res. Does lower res actually affect poison? Yes. Conviction does not. Right. I don't believe Conviction lowers poison. Yeah, lower res does, Conviction does not. That's the way it is. So, very cool looking spell. Sure, but without perfect everything. So, you know, you just run around, like I say, with really good lower res, and then you just Poison Nova and have really good gear for it. It is fun, but it's stupid. And one of them, a very gear intensive character, like I said before. So those are kind of the three things that you're really going to see. You're going to see the Summoner, you're going to see the Bone Necro, and then you might see a Poison Necro.